was not strong enough. The grave was not deep enough to quiet his love. He came and said, be still. I've seen your down, but no, I'm real. Can't you see my side? Look on these scars that bought your life. But the crowd was not loud enough. The cross was not strong enough. The grave was not deep enough to quiet his love. The crowd was not loud enough. The cross was not strong enough. The grave was not deep enough to quiet his love. We'll live our faith out loud. We'll hope beyond all doubt. We'll shine your light of love for your renown. And we'll live our faith out loud. We'll hope beyond all doubt. We'll shine your light of love for your renown. And the crowd was not loud enough. The cross was not strong enough. The grave was not deep enough to quiet his love. And the crowd was not loud enough. The cross was not strong enough. The grave was not deep enough to quiet his love. Whoa.
Hello and welcome to the Sacred Gaming Podcast, episode 14. This is the place where faith meets gaming, and I'm joined by my good friends Taboo, Lexicon, Till I Collapse, Mr. Ocho, and of course myself, I am Jay. But today's show topics are going to be, is multiplayer killing campaigns? We're going to be talking about those 2 million dislikes that Call of Duty's new trailer got. Of course, the Assassin's Creed trailer is going to be on there. Also, Battlefield 1. Maybe even some little bit of Black Ops 3 contract information. And then for the faith topic, we're going to be talking about unity in Christianity and answering your questions. So starting off, Collapse, welcome back, man. Would you introduce yourself? Tell everybody about your channel and tell us what you're playing right now.
All right, thank you. I'm Collapse or Daniel. I've got a channel. I haven't uploaded to it in quite a while. I don't know. I'm kind of like on the edge of whether I'm going to continue to upload or not upload. But what I've been playing right now, it's like a mixture. I went back to Destiny. I went back to The Division. I'm playing Rory McIlroy Golf. I'm playing Black Ops 3. So it's kind of like a mixture of games, but just trying to find something interesting. I get really frustrated with Black Ops 3 currently.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about with that frustration. Maybe we can talk about that here a little bit. Well, thanks for being on the show, man. Ocho, you want to introduce yourself? Tell everybody what you're playing.
Hey, I'm Ocho or Corey. I've been playing, I've been on YouTube for a while, but haven't uploaded anything. Actually, have been kind of experimenting with Twitch. So if you're on at like 3 o'clock in the morning, you might see like a random, hey, Ocho is streaming. But that's been kind of interesting. So I've been playing with OBS and some of the features in there. And actually, I think it's looking pretty good. I was trying to figure out how to stream and record at the same time. And the recordings were coming out kind of crummy, like it was kind of pixelated and stuff. So I think I might have figured that out. So hopefully might be able to see some Black Ops 3 and Fallout and stuff like that. Mostly been playing, I was playing Overwatch while the beta was open. So that was mostly what I was playing since there was kind of limited time on that. And still trying to finish Fallout 4. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, Taboo, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, Taboo
As the
Lexicon on Twitter at Taboo Lexicon, YouTube.com, Taboo Lexicon. I've been playing Minecraft lately, believe it or not, on the PC too, which is cool. The
Getting all
guys at
sweaty.
Solid Rock Gamers, they have a
Okay.
server, a Minecraft server, and they let me and Scoot on. So we've been screwing around on Minecraft a little bit, making a little settlement homestead type thing, and Scoot's in the chat right now. This
No
guy,
way.
You don't want to play Minecraft with him because when he builds a house, he just like clears out like 200 by 200 blocks and just flattens it and builds a house on it. It's a sight to see. But somebody's talking about a like bot in the chat. That's not a like bot. Those are just, I think those just like carry over every week or something like that.
Oh, okay.
On the channel.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll be talking all about the bots and likes and dislikes.
Yeah, we do a view bot before we did a like bot.
Yeah. Evil Scoot, man. All right, before I interview, well, I'm Jay. I'm sure you guys know that. I've been playing some Black Ops 3, Destiny. That's been the main thing. You guys were trying to talk me into playing some Minecraft though, and I actually played with these guys in a world, built a giant tree house in that. I mean, it was like hundreds of blocks high. And come to find out, man, the one day they trolled me. They like filled my area where I spawn in with bricks and everything like that. So I spawned into this area, and I had no shovel, no pickaxe on me or anything like that. And I was completely surrounded by rock and had to dig myself out by hand. I was a pain in the butt. But in order to get out of my house, I always just jumped off the edge and fell into the water, and that's how I got down there. And apparently, they like filled the water with blue wool or anything like that just to troll me, hoping that I'd fall in there and die. I was like, that's awesome. All right, but enough about that, man. And so glad to have you guys in the chat. If you can, please do me a favor and keep this family friendly. We don't want to see any little kids seeing anything that they shouldn't have. We're getting quite a few views when this thing goes to the channel and everything like that, and we appreciate you guys in here, but there's going to be a lot more people watching this later on. So we try to show off the chat and show off what you guys put in there. So please be respectful of that. But let's get right into the gaming topics. Claps, man, you want to start off talking about why you feel multiplayer is killing campaigns, or is it killing campaigns?
All right. I was talking to my buddy Warskull. I don't know if you know who that is. Played with him previously. I went to college with him. And he brought up this interesting idea because we were talking about, I was kind of gathering ideas for the post that I put on the Sacred website with the likes and dislike ratio. And he was talking about how everybody's looking at the multiplayer side of that just off of the campaign reveal trailer and how that's actually hurting the game. And now he's gone back and he hasn't really enjoyed a Call of Duty campaign in a long time. So I think that has an effect on it because we're all looking at multiplayer, so they're going to invest in it. And then it kind of cuts down on the story. I remember back in Modern Warfare series, you were so connected to the person, to the individual that you're playing, that you felt like you're a part of the story. And now I feel like you're disconnected. I feel like the last good one that I played was Ghosts, that I actually enjoyed the storyline.
Yeah.
So really, just to get your guys' input, your feedback on that, do you feel like that's affecting the campaign and the storyline, the amount of time they put into it? Or is it just, it's a bygone now, campaigns?
Well, I was really disappointed that Titanfall didn't have a decent campaign. I thought that was the perfect opportunity to have one. I don't know if they were rushed. I think they kind of got rushed with everything that happened with the consoles and everything like that, and Xbox was trying to catch up and everything. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if originally they had the campaign. I haven't played a Call of Duty campaign since the early ones. I mean, I played like the first mission in Black Ops 3, and that was actually... No, that was the first mission in AW, and I haven't even touched the campaign in Black Ops 3. So, I don't know. Good storytelling is hard to come by, it seems like, nowadays with campaigns, in my opinion.
That's for sure, yeah.
Do you think it's a money thing, where they don't want to invest too much on the campaign side because they're putting all of it into multiplayer in order to the innovativeness, the reworking of the engine to fit the new movement systems that they put into the game, things like that, so they have to detract from other areas, the story writers, all of those? Because AW, they spent all that money going out and getting, who's the actor?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they did have
the big name.
Game of Cards.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah. House of
There
Cards.
you go.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. What do you guys think?
It's tough, man. It is a really good question. Man, I don't even know if I got anything close to an answer, but like JA said, it's like good storytelling is really, really hard to find right now in a video game. And I don't know, maybe it's just that we're playing the wrong games. That might be part of it, but maybe they feel like the thing is that Call of Duty in particular, if they are just going to sell the game over and over and break records every time, they don't really have to try too hard. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So maybe I guess Destiny would have been a good opportunity for good storytelling, and that flopped on the storytelling side. But, maybe some of these games that don't have guaranteed record-breaking sales every year, maybe we should expect more from them. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're just able to be lazy. You know what I mean?
What's the last Call of Duty that you played through on the entire campaign?
Ghosts.
Modern Warfare 2.
Ghosts. I did. I started the Black Ops 3 one, but I played through all of them from COD 4 up till Advanced Warfare. I went through that one. And I think like some of the games, like Mirror's Edge is one of the games I played that has a multiplayer, but I never played the multiplayer. I just liked the story mode. And also with some of the older Uncharted, I didn't do Uncharted 4 because I don't have a PlayStation 4, but Uncharted has a multiplayer mode that I never played, but I enjoyed the campaign more than what the multiplayer was.
Because I remember like Modern Warfare 1 playing through the campaign more than once.
Yeah.
But in all fairness, right, multiplayer 1, Modern Warfare 1 was the first game that I started playing multiplayer, and so I was only a campaign player coming into it. And I spent a heck of a lot of time playing multiplayer than campaign. But
Which game was it where you're in the Middle East and the nuclear weapon detonates? Is that Modern Warfare 1?
Warfare 2, I think, wasn't it? No. Oh boy, that was a long time ago.
I know. I played Modern Warfare. I played the first one, COD 4. Played Modern Warfare 2, and then Black Ops 1. I think I probably got halfway through that campaign, and it was just I didn't like it, so I stopped playing it.
Yeah, I'm going by and I'm remembering one with the submarine in it. I'm remembering one where you throwing knife some guy in the face in it.
Oh yeah.
And like crawling through with a ghillie suit as a sniper in COD 4 on that one mission. That was pretty epic.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, there were a lot of good missions, man. Or running the chopper gunner or the AC-130 or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, the AC-130 mission was awesome.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 2, I think.
Yeah. You could do it with somebody else, and pretty cool. What do you guys think in the chat? Let us know if you think multiplayer or campaign has kind of been taking a back seat lately. Do you think they're not focusing on it, or do you think they're focusing on it and we're just wrong, dead wrong? Let us know in the chat.
I remember reading what's up, KS?
Kingdom Soldier in the house.
Hey.
I remember reading that only like 30% of people played the Call of Duty multiplayer, and the rest of them played campaign. I don't know if those numbers are accurate now. That might have been a couple of years ago, but it would make you think if that's the case, and those resources would be dedicated to the campaign and story and all that. But I don't know. I mean, if you blow your budget on Kevin Spacey or like amazing sound design, do you still have any for a good story?
Yeah,
because it seems like maybe not.
I want to know in the chat if you played through Black Ops 3's campaign, if it's any good. I'm just curious.
I also want to know in chat what's the best story in a video game right now in like current games, because I want to play one.
Would you count zombies as campaign, or is that like multiplayer?
I count that as multiplayer. It does have a lot of story in it, mostly that you kind of got to research, I think. But that's my opinion. It's kind of cool with all the Easter eggs and everything. But
I guess another aspect of the entire thing is that we kind of affect it in our own mind, because we're focused on. So there was a comment earlier in chat right after we started talking about the topic, was that I mean, we're going to talk about this later, but the entire community seems angry that over multiplayer in a game on a campaign trailer release.
Yeah.
So in our own minds, we've already kind of brushed it off before it even comes out. So I mean, there's more than one side. They may not be telling the story all that great, but we're also not really looking at it.
Yeah.
So
came late to the chat. We are just talking about our first topic is multiplayer killing campaigns. You can weigh in on that in the chat. saw some people asking about that. What about Uncharted? I've heard really good things about this latest one. And is it the final one? I'm not a PS player, so unfortunately I don't know. I'm not too up to date with this, but I'm hearing that the story is really good. And have you guys heard anything or seen anything?
Heard good reviews. I played the first three, but I haven't played four, and I've kind of watched some people streaming four, but not really. But I've heard like this has a really good story mode. Like I think there was a movie that was trying to be developed at some point, but they couldn't really get the director, and I think we had a director and he quit or something. So it's I think I wanted to see who was the guy. Have y'all seen Serenity or Firefly?
Yeah.
Or Castle?
Yeah.
The guy from there, Nathan Fillion. They're thinking about getting him to play Nathan Drake. That's the main character in that game. But I don't know if that's going to work or not.
Yeah. Interesting. Make sure you guys stay tuned because we're going to be talking about the Assassin's Creed trailer too here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But KS, let us know in the chat if he's been watching it, and I'd like to know what you think, if it's any good or anything like that, or if it's been interesting.
It's worth buying a PS4.
Ooh, man! You don't know how many times I've almost pulled the trigger on a PS4.
Nah, you know how times I've been sitting here wanting to play Destiny on the Xbox One because I've still got friends playing it over there recently.
Come back.
So it kind of goes both ways, but
Yeah.
a certain person might hurt me if I go out and get an Xbox One. So
I can guess who that might be.
yeah, you're right.
I wouldn't mind pulling a trigger on a PS4 too, but probably a different kind of trigger than what you're talking about.
Hey,
Oh man! Don't go to the dark side. Here it says. Nice. All right. Well, hey, as you guys know, sacredgaming.com is up and live. Hopefully, you guys know that. I hope you guys are coming out there, registering, finding us, sending us friend invites, and everything like that. There's a forums on there that you can connect with people. But we also have a lot of articles going up, gaming articles, faith topics. We're talking about current events and everything like that. So check out sacredgaming.com. And speaking of that, Collapse Man just uploaded an article about the Call of Duty dislikes that have happened. And you want to talk about that, Collapse? I don't mean to go back to you right away, but
sure. So I've been, being a Call of Duty fan and wanting to see what is next for the franchise. I'm sure we're all expecting a change in the franchise, maybe the style of movement, the style of game, but the community in general, I think, was leaning towards that direction. But the reveal trailer came out. It's like 365,000 likes and over 2.1 million dislikes at this point.
Shoot.
And there's a lot of different reasons as to why the video has received so many dislikes. One of those, of course, is that we're looking at it from the point of the campaign, and we're actually voting on the multiplayer side of it, whereas something that's to be expected. Others are just that maybe they don't want the futuristic content. And there's a lot of different reasons why I've kind of that article, the post was just designed to sort of collect a few of the ideas that I've gathered from the community. Watching videos from Drifter, from Jack Frags, Chaos Silencer, just different of that, asking friends of mine how they felt about it, the way they were looking to it. And I think the overall feeling was that people were just generally fed up with the futuristic warfare.
Yeah.
Like they wanted a return to previous, and this is where I think DICE really hit it on the head, because they listened to their community, and the community kind of wanted to go back in time a little bit and have a little bit of nostalgia while still allowing DICE to do their thing. And I think that's what our community was sort of hoping for.
nice.
Yeah, I think so. It's like, I don't think anybody. Well, I'm sure people have something against that futuristic stuff, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad in Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Advanced Warfare. I didn't care for, but it was okay. But we've just done it a lot. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, if I had played World War II Call of Duty like 3 years in a row or whatever, I would have been like, yeah, let's do something modern. And then we did modern for a few years. Now we're doing something future, but you just get tired of it. You want something different. And then you throw in the new movement mechanics that a lot of the hardcore, like early COD fans like ourselves aren't real thrilled with. And it's just like you see a trailer like a Battlefield trailer, and you're just like, man,
Yeah.
that's what I wanted.
Now, chaos. Chaos put something in there saying that the movement is confirmed to be very similar to Black Ops 3, and I saw somebody tweet that out.
Yes.
So I think we're going to be something similar with that chain-based movement in this new Call of Duty, which I was kind of hoping to go more boots on the ground. So I'm a little disappointed. I don't know how I feel about the whole space thing and the futuristic thing. I kind of would have liked to gone back, but you know what? I'm probably never going to be happy, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm going to buy it.
What
I'm
about
gonna play
paying
it.
extra for COD 4? You think that's okay?
For me, I'm okay with that. If I don't know how much was it extra.
$80 for the combo, so you're paying $20 extra,
Bucks. Yeah.
and you're not getting. Okay, so here is. This is my disconnect, and this is probably my main reason, my main frustration, is that you're paying an extra $20, but they're not going to include everything that was with Modern Warfare 1. So you're not going to get all the maps. You're only going to get 10 multiplayer maps. And that, to me, is kind of frustrating. Like I put in the article, I think that they're trying to either feel the community out for what the community wants to play, or they're trying to ensure that they get their return on investment,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate.
I'm not a fan of it. I wish they'd split it off and sell it separately because, like, I don't know if I'm going to buy Infinite Warfare yet. And if there's a beta, I'll play it and make my mind up then. But if there's no beta, I'm really not going to buy it. So hopefully there's a beta. Hopefully it's a good beta. Then I'll buy it. Then I won't mind the extra $20. But if I'm not buying the game, I do still want to get Infinite Warfare. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be stuck without a game, or I'm going to have to spend $80 for a game I don't want just to get the game that I do want. And I don't think I'll do that either.
It's going to be really interesting to see how many people are playing that remastered MW. Right? Because if there's only a few people playing it and the connection is really garbage, that's going to be really frustrating for me if I spent $20 on it. Granted, it's only $20. It's like buying Minecraft, you know. So I'm hoping it's good, and we'll see though.
You think there'll be a competitive scene on COD 4?
Yes.
That would be.
I don't think professional competitive, but I think you're going to have like the Game Battles websites, things like that. UMG, they're going to put out their tournaments. I don't think they'll go full professional with it because it's not the current
Yeah,
game.
probably not.
Yeah,
What if they put out-
wouldn't do that, would they?
What if they put out the Modern Warfare 1 on its own?
Oh.
Do you think it would still cost $20?
I-
What if it was like $50?
I would pay $50 if they included everything.
I tell you what, which
They
one
gave
would
us
you
all the
buy if
DLC
you could only
maps.
buy one?
Remastered.
I think that a lot of people would just
100%.
buy that remastered. This is a brilliant move on their part, man, because I think it's going to draw people back that were older, just so they can get that might not like, you know, the whole space aspect or futuristic thing. They're going to have to buy it to get it. I don't know. I think a brilliant move. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait. I'm giddy, man. I'm giddy to play Shipment and Bog and whatever those other maps were called. I was putting them in.
You know
I was
what they
putting
should
them in a groupie chat and showing them all. It's just I can't wait.
On the tournament side of things, you know, they'll have the big tournaments or whatever. And what if at the end, like the losers bracket, like whoever gets eliminated from the tournament, they wind up in a remastered tournament, a whole new bracket.
If you lose the remastered tournament, you have to go play Infinite Warfare.
Oh,
Oh man, ouch. Ouch. All right. Something I heard too, somebody was saying that there might be a dislike bot on that video because the amount of dislikes were going up faster than the views. So I wonder if that's playing a part in it. I also wonder if it's just the internet is full of trolls
Yes.
and people who just, you know, see the dislikes. Oh yeah, I'm gonna dislike when they might not have actually left a like or dislike in the past. You know, it's kind of the fun, cool thing to do. You know, just drop that dislike, and it might just be a lot of resentment towards Activision too. You know, I don't know what role those are playing.
I'm gonna be honest. I disliked it, but only after You Are Paranoid tweeted that the dislikes were just through the roof. I was like,
Yeah.
So I got on there and
Oh, see, and you wouldn't have normally, right?
I wouldn't have done anything to it. I would
Yeah.
have just left
So
it.
you know, I wonder if it's the lemmings. You know,
I just went and liked it.
what's that?
I just went and liked it.
Yeah, I'm gonna like it. Just that I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna play it.
Yeah.
Jonathan, I'm here. If you got something to say, just put it in the chat. So, because I'm not sure if you want to talk about Ghost, or I don't know if you're asking us about Ghost or you want to put something in Ghost. Just let us know.
I repurchased it.
When will the church truly unite? We're gonna be talking about that. That's gonna be our faith topic. So,
Yeah, I think he wants to know when that topic will start.
probably about 10 o'clock Eastern PM. That's about when we'll probably get there. Maybe a little earlier.
Yeah.
All right, let's get on. Let's talk about Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1. Ocho, you want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah, so we're talking about the Call of Duty trailer. Battlefield also released their trailer. I actually watched the presentation a little bit while I was at work. I was mostly listening to it. I was kind of in my headphones while I was doing my job. If anybody else is watching this. And so it's going to be a World War One staging. So we're going to go back in the past from, it was Battlefield 4. Well, they had Battlefield Hardline, which is like cops and robbers and stuff. But Battlefield 4 was like kind of modern warfare, right?
Yes.
Versus futuristic, like last few Call of Duties have been.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so they're showing off like kind of these melee weapons. You had tanks, you had horses, and they were talking to developers in the video, and the guy was asking like, would there be horses in the campaign or in the multiplayer? And they were kind of cagey about it. They didn't really like say one way or the other, but like it's in at least the campaign, so it looks like you'll actually be able to ride a horse. And that was a weird thing about World War One is they had like this kind of mix of airplanes and you had horses and tanks at the same time. So it's like you have this variety of weapons that you don't really have. I mean, you could have them now, but like why would you have a horse when you have like Humvees and tanks and aircraft carriers and stuff like that? So what did you guys think about it?
Okay, first of all, I hated the picture on the screen. I mean,
because the guy's cape that he was wearing.
Yeah, it's the cape. It's the cape. He's like Doctor Strange to me. He's got
you're racist.
Take off the cape, put a helmet on his head, and I'm good to go. That would be awesome. That little puny club too. He needs like a baseball bat or something like that. That little puny pugil club, and then I'm fine.
Well, maybe they'll get it in supply drops.
Yeah. But man, it's interesting. I know I saw the guys manning in the planes and the biplanes, manning that turret gunner thing and flying in the Zeppelin, or the Zeppelin was coming by or something like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know, kind of interesting. What about you guys?
I'm excited about it, and the fact that it comes out a week or two before Infinite Warfare. I think just the meta of all of that is just like extremely interesting, and it's going to be fun to watch. Like, because I'm probably going to pick up the game.
It's releasing on my birthday, October 21st.
So you'll treat yourself, right?
Yeah, but
you got a present.
Listen, all right, I'm gonna tell Battlefield how to step up their game, right? Because listen, all right, I do not buy Battlefield because I know 2 weeks later I am going to be playing Call of Duty. They're hoping to pick people up before they buy Call of Duty, but diehard Call of Duty fans, they're waiting for Call of Duty. If they would release Battlefield now in June, I'd buy it. I'd buy it and play it and try to get used to it and everything, because Black Ops 3 is kind of getting on my nerves right now, and it's halfway through the cycle, and I'm getting a little sick and tired of it, and things are getting frustrating. If they released a game like that, I'd be all over it.
That's a good point. Yeah.
If they would hit that 6-month window where everybody's starting to like float away and all the videos are starting to come out speculating what the next Call of Duty is going to be and how much they hate the current one, I think they would sell a lot more copies. Because I see a lot of people on my friends list that have gone back to Battlefield 4 currently and are playing it. People that I haven't seen been playing it since the Division release, since Black Ops 2 released, since the Overwatch beta, things like that.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm excited.
Battlefield's one of those.
Go ahead. OJ.
Battlefield's one of those games that I didn't really play the multiplayer at all, but I really enjoyed the campaign. And it's like back to what we were talking about earlier. It's like when you see the commercial for the campaign, like that was what really got me to buy, I think, Battlefield 3. I didn't get 4 because I didn't like the multiplayer, and well, let's say I didn't like it, but I didn't like it as much as I like COD. So the campaign was really fun to play, but like the multiplayer didn't have as much of the reward and the streak mechanic and all those things that I really enjoy about COD.
Yeah, and I think they're making some improvements to the campaign. They're in you Battlefield players can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was kind of corridor-ish, where you had this certain thing. And I think they're giving it a more open feel, more choices and pathways to go and everything like that. Does that interest you guys? I know somebody put in the chat, Leica. Hopefully I'm not pronouncing that wrong. But he wasn't too happy with the whole single-player aspect of it. But I think they're trying to do some things with this Battlefield. You guys, does that interest you? Or does that make you...
I've always thought their campaigns had a good story. But yeah, they were very compartmentalized. You were stuck to a certain path along the game. There was no deciding, your area or how you wanted to move around. So if they could open it up a little bit, I think it'd be a little more fun. But I don't know. I'm too stuck on multiplayer. I'm probably part of the reason why campaigns are dying.
That's what I was just thinking. Like, I might, if I wind up buying the game, and it turns out the multiplayer is disappointing, I might go back and play the campaign, but chances are I won't even touch it, on day one.
Yeah.
If they tell a good story, like because I always have enjoyed World War II history. I'm sort of a history buff. I haven't really learned that much about World War I history. If they can go back and tell an actual story of World War I, then I would love to play it to learn that storyline, especially with the group from Harlem that they're showcasing as part of the pre-order. I think that would be interesting to learn that storyline as well.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
If they can, I think there's a Lawrence of Arabia. Part of the pre-order bonus is a Lawrence of Arabia pack.
Really?
I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but I enjoyed that movie. So to tell that story of it as well, I'd definitely be interested.
Cool. All right. Anything else about Battlefield? You guys may have touched on this, and I might have been paying attention to the chat a little too much or anything like that. Looks like they're really ramping up the melee aspect in this game. Is that I don't really care for that, to be honest with you. I'm not too interested in that. But what do you guys think?
I think Battlefield's always had the more realistic kind of war versus like COD's kind of, I don't say cartoonish, but more arcade.
Yeah.
The kind of difference between like maybe like one of the Madden or NBA Live versus like NBA Jam. Kind of like that.
You guys, I can't even think about whatever question you just asked, because now I'm thinking about that stupid article I read the other day about the guy who was complaining about the violence in Battlefield.
Oh,
a video game reporter, and he's talking about how he's okay with like sawing somebody in half on Gears of War, but the real World War I violence is like too much for him.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Now I'm mad.
Jonathan, let me know what you have on schedule. Something like that. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the Assassin's Creed trailer. Oh man, let me know in the chat what do you guys think about that. Taboo, man, you wrote an article on sacredgaming.com talking about this new trailer. Yeah. I'd love to know. Tell everybody about it.
I got in trouble for it too. Yes, so there's a new Assassin's Creed movie coming out. It's coming out later this year. I don't remember if I saw the date or not, but it is 2016. And man, it just looked really interesting. And I've only played like 1.5 Assassin's Creed games, but that whole universe and whole concept of going into your ancestors' memories through this machine was really interesting to me. But the movie's coming out this year. It's got Michael Fassbender is like the main character, and he played Magneto, like the young Magneto in the X-Men series of movies. And trailer looks awesome. You can go to sacredgaming.com and look at it. But I'm excited, and what I'm hopeful for is that they'll do a good job with the movie, right? And they've got some A-list talent on there, and I'm hoping the movie's just great, and like people are like, wow, this is a video game movie that was done well, because ultimately I want to see a Halo movie one day. I still hold out hope for that, and if we can see some good video game inspired movies, and maybe one day we'll see a Halo movie.
Gotcha. All right, so Taboo didn't get in trouble, all right, but I really don't like Assassin. Oh, let me explain this. I only played like the first Assassin's Creed, and I thought it was really kind of anti-Christian with some of the aspects of it. It kind of made it like I'm okay with people criticizing church history, because there are some definite things to criticize, but then they did the Pieces of Eden, and they were like, somebody's using this to, totally just brainwash people to follow Christianity and dupe people. Like, I think Moses was using it, Jesus was using it with the cross, and that's just a little bit of overkill for me, and I didn't really care for that. Plus, they're saying, if you believe the Bible, you're kind of a moron and stuff like that. Now, I think the person who said that turned out to be the bad guy, so that's okay. If they portray him in that respect. But the whole Pieces of Eden thing, that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and I thought they went a little too far portraying the Christians as the bad guys, and other groups as more the good guys. Now, I think I'm the only one in that group who saw it that way, and everybody was like, "You're just being a, I don't know, Pharisee or something like that." If you know what I'm talking about in the chat, let me know, man. I need somebody to back me up here. But
I'll tell you, I just don't remember it enough. Like those early games, like I feel like the first game had like this Templar thing going on, and I don't know, Holy Grail or something. I don't remember, but and it turned out. Well, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't played it yet, but there's betrayal and twists and stuff like that, and I never got that vibe, but maybe I just wasn't as sensitive to it at the time when I was playing it. But
Mike said, "Eat a Snickers."
Nice.
Now, in all fairness, I've heard that future Assassin's Creed aren't really like that, and also too, in all fairness, they did say it was a work of fiction when you first started up the game.
Yeah.
So we are talking fiction here.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Whatever. Assassin's Creed.
I never could beat the first game, so
first game was
the end was really hard for me. There was
Didn't
a
you
sequence
make
where
it
you had to
better?
like kill like 10 different like knights at once or whatever, and I grinded that out like for days
yeah.
until I could finally do it. It was tough.
Caiaphas awaits. That is awesome. Oh man, man. Speaking of trailers too, well, are you guys excited about this movie? You gonna watch it?
Assassin's Creed for sure.
Yeah, I am not. No, I might. What about you guys? Claps, Ocho?
after being unable to beat the game, I never was interested in the series again. So I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to it. It was frustrating, so kind of got pushed away.
Gotcha.
I think I played like maybe one of them that was free on like the Xbox Live Gold giveaway. I think was it Black Flag or something like that.
Black Flag, yeah, that was free. Yeah.
So I think I played a little bit of that, but just never really went back to it. But the movie, it seems like it'd make a good movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie concept.
It's got a really interesting possibility. Yeah, that it's got a great interesting possibility.
What about
Yeah.
Warcraft though? Do you
Warcraft.
guys think that's gonna be good?
I'm seeing that bad boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks. I've never played Warcraft, World of Warcraft, but I'm gonna see it, man.
They're making a movie?
Yeah, it's
I didn't
kind of
know
a
that.
cartoon.
Soon too, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Isn't it this month it comes out?
Aaron, is it this month? Let us know in the chat.
Aaron, write a dang write up on the movie, man, for the site.
I'm Harry Pottering Assassin's Creed. Don't get me started on Harry Potter either.
June 10th on the Warcraft movie.
Probably
June
got
10th.
vampires in it too.
Cool. I still haven't seen Civil War.
I haven't
Man,
either.
Me neither.
Kingdom Soldier posts like day one. He's in the movie theater and he posts the screenshot of it, and I'm like, you jerk, make me really jealous of you. And I really wanted to see it this weekend, but my weekend was just like jam packed. And then I'm like, come on, Eddie, let's go see it. My wife, and she's like, I don't want to see it if I'm not paying a matinee price. That $2 extra is just not worth it for me to see that movie. I'm like, seriously? I will personally pay for it out of YouTube money, to watch this. So we didn't end up seeing it. But, all right. Let's talk about Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 got some interesting news about the contracts. First of all, contracts in the game. Man, this is a great idea because right now there's one contract. If I'm right in the game,
Yes.
you have to get 75 wins. So that's actually a reason to play because I'm going to get a guaranteed weapon, which they seem to be super stingy with me, and I'm not spending any more money on supply drops or anything like that, like the creamy. But yeah, 75 wins, I can do that. So I'm actually back and playing. I tell you what, I went through like a period of 3 weeks where I was going negative like all the time, and I couldn't figure out what's going on. I'm not sure if it's my internet connection or something changed, but I got on and played, I think Friday night, and I was actually able to get back in my groove. So I don't know if I just had to get my shot back from playing Destiny so much, but I'm back playing. I'm excited about these contracts. This is a brilliant way to keep people playing. And besides the contracts, I think we're hearing rumors. I was talking to Claps about this, and he was saying something that we might see the 10th specialist in the contract. So if you perform this contract, you might be able to get the 10th specialist to use for a limited time. And I'm thinking they're calling him or her Blackjack. And apparently this idea is you are going to be able to steal other people's specialist abilities. Now, honestly, that sounds dumb to me, but what do you guys think about that? Or what do you guys think about the contracts, and what do you guys think about this Blackjack specialist?
One thing I missed about the original Black Ops was the contracts that they had there. Remember, you could like make some coffee.
Somebody get him some G Fuel.
G Fuel. But they had like those contracts where you could get like different attachments on your gun after you got so many kills and whatever, and they would expire. Like I think it was like when you get 75 kills or headshots or something, and you got, I think it was a camo or some kind of reward for it. I haven't played Black Ops 1 in a while, so I might go back and try that. But that was one thing I really liked about the system they had in that game. But the contracts in this game, it's like, well, hopefully they're similar to that, where you can earn some of the things that you would normally get through supply drops. Because that seems like if you can pay for stuff and it's random, I don't like that as much, because I don't want to pay for stuff that I could get working for it.
Yeah.
True.
I think the big benefit for people was at least seeing that they could earn at least one weapon through this process and have a solid way to earn it. Now, they didn't tell you what you're going to get, and when I completed my 75 wins, I got the wrench. So, yeah, that's just going to sit in the inventory and never get used.
What?
Yeah, I'm really going to run around with a wrench.
The wrench is awesome.
I take the wrench.
You just gotta go. You just gotta go hit one dude with it, and you're gonna be hooked, because it just makes a satisfying clunk sound. Man.
I got lucky, and one of the 10 supply drops they gave me, I got the FAMAS out of it. So
there you go.
But
Nice.
the contracts in themselves are a good idea to keep people coming back. For somebody like myself, making it to Prestige Master level 1000 isn't really entertaining for me. It's just a massive grind.
Yep.
I've already completed Dark Matter. I've got every single character except for one up to hero armor all the way, and all I'm finishing is the gravity spike kills. So with that, it gives me something else to kind of strive for, because I still want the MX Grand. So if you give me an option to earn the MX Grand, then that's going to keep me coming back.
Yeah. With somebody on Netflix. I think, just to answer you guys' questions in the chat, I think there was something on my connection. I think, honestly, too, I've been playing... Whoa. You guys still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I was playing Destiny so much and tried to come back to Call of Duty just to play, and I think I didn't give myself enough time to readjust and everything like that, so that might be an issue. So I'm not sure what's going on here, but...
Turn on your video. Don't hit the red button, though.
Yeah, I don't have any options to... Here we go. All right. Well, we've got to hurry up, man. Anything about Black Ops 3? Anything else? I think Skype's trying to get me to pay for some premium stuff.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right. We still going good?
Yeah, it's like everything's a little darker, though, so just deal with it, people.
Yeah. What the heck? All right. Let's talk about unity and Christianity. Taboo, you want to talk about this? Start us off?
Yeah, I was just thinking about this the other day. You see the Burger King comment?
Yeah.
I was looking at some other comment about Ocho.
Oh, okay, yes, I see.
Yeah.
Unity in the church. Yeah, I was just thinking about the other day how there's so many denominations and divisions in the Christian church, just in the U.S. And then way further out into the world as well. And I'm just curious if there's things that we can do as believers to kind of close the gap, because we right here in this chat and in this Skype call, there's a lot of diversity in terms of Christian background or whatever. I started out like Baptist, and then my parents started going to a charismatic church, and then Pentecostal, and then finally now I'm at like a non-denominational type church. And I know you guys have different backgrounds as well. So can we use what can we do to bring unity to the church? First of all, is the division a bad thing, like the denominational divisions? And then second of all, is there something that we can do to be a closer, more united church?
Mm-hmm.
In Dallas, we've had, particularly around racial lines, there was a program that was going on where these churches would kind of team up, and their past, like, there's a predominantly white church and predominantly black churches, and they would switch pastors for a day. So you'd have one pastor speaking at the other church, and it seemed to be pretty good. I didn't see many like reactions from it, but it was like, it's a really good idea to have like pastors and teachers that kind of travel around different congregations, and like you'll see that most of what we teach is the same. Like there's unity around the basics, and it's kind of on the edge type things where there's uncertainty in the scriptures, where I think people sometimes are more divisive than they should be, and I think that's where a lot of the division comes from.
Yeah, makes sense.
We had, I know we had a Baptist church come to ours once, and it was a black church, and I tell you what, man, I loved the music. It was awesome, and the pastor, just totally different style too. But it was so cool to get to interact with people that we didn't normally, interact with on Sunday, and it kind of, I think, opened our eyes to a lot of people, and I thought it was awesome. So I love that idea, Ocho, and I hope that I should say something to our ministerial association. See that would be cool. One thing that I've noticed too is I think a lot of people criticize us for being divided, and there's some groups that do that. But I look at our group, and I look at like my wife and myself. She grew up Pentecostal, and I grew up on about the exact opposite side of the spectrum. And we have some things that we don't see eye to eye, but 95% of the things we have in common. And I think if we focus on that, then we've got real opportunities for unification, because we're unified. We're unified in what we do and everything like that, and what we believe, and we just come to a place where we can disagree.
Yeah, and I think about like people I talk to who are my age and younger and a little bit older, and it feels a lot different. Like I think about my parents' generation and the one before them being divided along these lines. But there's a lot of stuff that like me and the people I talk to, we're just okay agreeing to disagree on, and it's not like one of these like deal breakers, when it comes to a relationship with one another. So I don't know if that's a new thing. Maybe that's something that we can credit the millennials for, as hard as that may be for you to do. But I don't. That's just how it feels to me. It's a little bit more casual when it comes to the differences. But have you guys experienced the same kind of thing, or maybe completely different? Maybe I'm way off on that.
Well, I always grew up in a Baptist church, and for me, the experiences I had there led me to leave the Baptist church, and now I go to a non-denominational, so Christian church. And it was more along the lines of me finding and reading the scripture for myself and understanding, how the scripture spoke to me, more than a church telling me, what was right or wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's a disconnect when you go amongst denominations. You have certain denominations that are going to be very strict set of rules and lines that don't get crossed, whereas other ones, they want the people to interpret for themselves. So I think that's the difficulty.
Yeah.
Do you think denominations are a bad thing?
Oh boy, it's for me personally, and I can't speak for everybody. I think for me personally, yes.
Okay.
It was better for me to back away from a Baptist denomination and to see a larger picture.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see value in them in terms of, especially like if you're moving to a new town, sometimes that it's almost like a brand. You kind of feel like you're going to get like a consistent experience or somewhat consistent experience by looking at that brand. But I don't think it's too healthy to divide yourself from other people based on disagreement. Like, I feel like it's more important to learn how to live and work through disagreement, you know, because some of these denominations are split based on like some really, like, do you sprinkle when you baptize or do you dunk when you baptize, you know? And like, that's kind of silly to me. Like, you should be able to do church with those people without dividing. You should be able to talk about your disagreements and have those conversations. But if you split and you go separate ways, and that's just a schism that I don't think is a healthy one. You know what I mean? Like, if there's people in your church saying, yeah, Jesus wasn't God, then yeah, I mean, that's a clear cut division. But some of these interpretive differences, and I don't know. It's kind of silly to divide on that. By the way, Judgment, I don't know if you know this. We can't see your video anymore.
Oh man, hey, go on it. It went dark, man. What is going on here?
There you
Like Skype supply drops.
Yeah. So, all right, I want to ask this question: Is do you consider Catholics Christians as well? Somebody asked that in the chat.
I saw that.
I think Soldier was just trying to stir stuff up.
Yeah. Next, he's going to be asking about gender identity in public schools.
Hermaphrodites. Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I don't know enough about Catholic theology to like say one way or the other, but I feel like they do have the basics in common: the deity of Christ, forgiveness of sins, his death, resurrection. So I'm inclined to say yes, but then again, I just don't know enough about it.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I have some friends that are Catholic, and I haven't found anything that we disagree on that is like the tenets or the standards of our faith. You know, we're all trusting in Jesus Christ for our salvation and putting our hope in that. Do they do some things that I don't agree with? Yeah.
Sure.
You know, but I don't think there's anything like I would consider a Jehovah's Witness or a Mormon somebody that isn't in line with what I believe in Christianity.
Yeah.
But Catholicism, I don't have any personal
The only
issues.
thing where I've heard people pray to Mary, and I know that's like something that would be specifically anti-biblical, but I don't know that every Catholic believes in that, or that that's even their standard doctrine. To call it like heresy, but well, at least from as a whole group of people. But I think also we have to look at people individually, because there can be people that in denominations that maybe we agree with more specifically and on a larger basis, that maybe individually that not everybody agrees to the same doctrine within that denomination. And so I think even within like maybe Jehovah's Witness and Mormons, that if they have the correct doctrine personally, then I would call them my brother as well.
Gotcha.
That's a good question, Aaron. Do you think that papal infallibility agrees with your doctrine? Not really.
No. Yeah.
But I don't know if that means that the average Joe Catholic, is going to hell. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think once again it goes back to who are they trusting for salvation, and that's one of the big things of Christianity and determining Christianity in my point of view. Like I said, yeah, there's some things praying to Mary, the Pope always being right, totally disagree with. I think that causes a bunch of headaches, but I don't know if that's something to disqualify them for being considered Christian.
Yeah, and that's we've seen abuses of that power in history. You don't have to look very far to see it abused. We're purchasing salvation and things like that, and the church going after political power. Using their influence, and so you can see abuses of that. But it doesn't mean that the average Catholic guy is, out of step. You know what I mean?
And can we go back to the first topic about unity and denominations? Because when the Catholic Church was the church, there was a lot of opportunities for corruption and false doctrine and everything like that. With all these denominations and different things, there's a lot more, I'd say, checks and balances, so that if we see like one denomination right now accepting some things that a lot of other denominations wouldn't accept, and those other denominations are calling that one denomination out and kind of speaking to that. So I kind of see, the issues of when there was just one church. So if we didn't have, I'm not saying if we didn't have denominations that we'd be one church and only have one way of doing things, but I kind of see, on the other hand, how denominations can kind of prevent some of the things maybe from getting accepted and shoved down people's throats.
Yeah, I almost feel like maybe that's less of a influential thing now, because like the times you're talking about, people had less access to scripture. You know what I mean? So they almost had to be spoon-fed their faith by a priest who spoke Latin and could read Latin. But now we have access to the internet. There's a Bible in every house and hotel room. And so if you want the information, you can kind of go get it, and you can get commentaries. You can watch Kingdom Soldier do like chapter summaries on YouTube. So it's like so accessible that it almost seems like, because there's so much now, maybe that's its own check and balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there isn't the threat of death or, in there too. So yeah, totally agree with what you're saying, Taboo. But yeah, are Catholics going to heaven? That'd be a good question to ask, is whether or not they're Christian or not. If you say no, I don't know, because I see some people putting some stuff in here that's pretty interesting. But were you gonna say something? You look like you're about to say something, Taboo.
Oh, no.
Okay. No, all right. Let's move on. All right. So I got a question, and this is now the time that we want to hear your questions about Christianity or gaming or anything like that. We'll try to do our best to answer those. But I want to ask you guys something, because I'm working on a video, and I want to release it. And I want to ask you, is it okay for Christians to watch movies with nudity in it? We're not talking porn, or maybe we are talking porn, but is it okay to watch Game of Thrones, these other movies? Should Christians be watching these things with nudity in there? Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
I'll let you guys take that
one. Because, all right, obviously a lot of Christians are. All right? There's a lot of Christians. And on one hand, you can say, I'm going to watch this show, but I'm going to turn my head when the nudity comes on, and I'm not going to be a part of that. Because obviously there's a potential issue of lusting after another person and the problems that come along with that. And if that's a problem, like I personally could not watch any show with nudity in it, because I'd be watching it and for the wrong reasons. So I kind of limit myself in that. But there might be another Christian that says, and there are other Christians that say, that's not an issue for me, or I turn my head, my wife, puts something in front of my head and everything like that. Is that valid? Is that something that is something that's excusable or allowable, or what do you guys think? Because I know what I think. I want to hear what you guys think.
Loaded.
I want to know what you guys think in the chat too. Should Christians watch the boobies?
Hashtag
clickbait, man.
Hashtag boobies. Put that in the title, Taboo.
I think that is kind of a personal preference. I think, like, let's say you're a doctor and like you're watching videos about surgery and like there's stuff that's uncovered. Like, it's not for your entertainment. You're there to learn about the human body. And actually, when I was in college, I actually had to do this class that was an art class. So I had to actually draw a nude model. And so I had male and female models. And I was actually late to that class one day, because I had like 8 classes or something that semester, and it was crazy. But I walked in and I was like, oh, this is the wrong class. And it was kind of embarrassing, but like, I was supposed to be there for 3 hours drawing this person. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, man.
I mean, my conscience was clear about it, because I mean, I'm not there for my entertainment. It was a assignment for class, and like, it wasn't anything at all. So I think that's one side of it. But then also there's, if you know specifically there was going to be nudity in the movie and that's the reason you're going to watch it, I think that's definitely an area where your heart is lusting, and it will be inappropriate.
Okay. Taboo, collapse. You want to weigh in? You don't have to.
Where a lot of it's kind of like you have that battle in your mind. I think it's with a lot of things, that and I don't know. I think it has to come down to each individual person. Do you know your limits? Do you know what you can, that you can refrain from looking at it. You turn your head or fast forward it, or whatever. In the same time, on the other side of me, it's almost on the side of the not letting the unclean things to corrupt you. You know what I mean? So I think it's a battle. I think it's something that it's just gonna. That's something that I have to, seek guidance on.
Okay,
For me,
pretty wise.
so it's for me, it's uncomfortable. Even in a movie, if there's a woman in a bathing suit and I'm watching a movie with my wife,
Yeah,
for me that is very uncomfortable because I don't feel that that's not somebody I should be looking at. Because I have my wife.
Yeah. I look at it two ways. One way, it's kind of like, don't desensitize yourself, because you'll just keep getting like more and more desensitized. So like, if you have a girlfriend or a wife and you don't like check out other women when they walk by or whatever, like don't start. You know what I mean? Because one day that'll be okay for you, and then the next thing that was definitely not okay, that'll slowly become okay. You know what I mean? So like, it's like that with these shows too. And we have conversations. We've had this conversation in our group chat before, and one of our friends says he watches it with his wife, and they look away or whatever. And I trust that guy 100%. Like when he said that, I believe him. But for me, it's like the Bible says that we can be drawn away by our own temptations. So like, I think it's really important not to put yourself in that place where you can be drawn away, because it might not be something that happens like right now. You might not commit that lust in your heart today when you see it, but it might create something that becomes something bigger tomorrow.
sure. Yeah, I also too think about it this way. Some people will criticize me for playing Call of Duty. Okay, and I have some issues with. I don't see a problem with violence or anything like that, and so it might be tempting for me to say it's not something I struggle with, so that's okay. But when looking at something like nudity, all right, if you watch a movie with murder, all right, it's the murder is being faked. It's not somebody really murdering someone. But if you watch a movie with nudity, those aren't fake boobies. Well, it probably is fake boobies that you're seeing, but you don't fake that. It's real, and I'm thinking about the person who is standing there naked, or what if that's somebody's wife who's simulating sex with somebody? Would I want my wife in that situation doing that? Heck no. Would I want my daughter in that situation? Heck no. So why is it okay for somebody else's wife or somebody else's daughter to be in that situation? I'm encouraging that by watching it. So do I have any hand in this? I kind of think like there's so many Christians, and we can either be shaping culture or we can be shaped by culture. And I think this is something that we're being shaped by culture instead of saying, what, we've got a standard here. I don't think we should do it. So for me personally, I don't like that, myself. Do I understand some people aren't going to be affected by that nudity and watching it? Yeah, totally believe that. Or that they can skip by it, totally believe that. But I wonder, what are we doing with our dollars by watching it and encouraging it? And, think about this, if nobody watched if no Christian watched the Game of Thrones because of the nudity in it, that would send a big message, I think, and maybe they'd rethink doing that. But there are, a lot of Christians watching it and encouraging it, in my opinion.
If only they had a book or something that didn't have the nudity.
I tell you what, and there are things that you can hook up to your TV where you can actually watch stuff and it will take out the nudity and everything like that. But I still think we're supporting it, and I don't want to be encouraging that. Now, I'm trying to think if I'm a hypocrite by anything else that I'm watching or doing, because I don't know. It's a good question for me to evaluate and everything like that. But I don't know. Maybe I'm being another Pharisee, with the Assassin's Creed thing and everything like that.
Look, but in this is life and death, like spiritual life and death. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like, I'm not saying you should be a Pharisee, but if it comes between being erring on the side of caution and just being a little careless, like you should just go with caution.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like we talk about it like it's just flesh and blood, but it's like it is spiritual life and death.
Yep.
I think of when you mentioned this topic, the first thing I went to was the Casting Crowns song. I can't remember. I can't remember the name of it.
Courageous.
Oh, I think I know.
Like, be careful, little eyes, what
Yeah.
you see.
Oh, yeah.
Second glance, and then it continues, and that's the first thing that came to mind. Is just that it's a little slow fade. There we go, slow fade.
That's a good
That
song.
was just how it identified that, in that it's just one simple step after another that doesn't seem like it's anything, but in the end, when you add all of them up, they become significant.
Yeah. Yep. Aaron said you can't unsee something. Is that true, man? I mean, I have a photographic memory when it comes to porn and nudity, and unfortunately, man, those images seem to be kind of burned in there, even like specific things. So, yeah, interesting. All right. Anything else you guys got, man?
Yeah,
in the chat, let us know.
Ryan
Miss
wanted to
anything?
know about No Man's Sky. What we thought about that? Have you seen the?
The
have you
1
seen
million
that yet?
planets that you can visit and go to. And
Yeah.
I've seen some things about it. I'm not 100% up to date with it, but it looks like Minecraft on not Minecraft.
In space.
You can resource the planets and everything like that, right? That you go to and
I believe so. Yeah, the stuff that I saw was it was just like a instrumental type trailer type thing, and it was just like showing locations, and then it would show the plane or whatever taking off and flying into space and going to another planet. It looked awesome, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be fun.
PlayStation 4 exclusive, right?
I thought it was
And PC.
PC for some reason.
yeah.
Yeah. So PlayStation 4 and PC, but not Xbox.
I want to be able to shoot somebody though.
Right.
If it's
Not Xbox, huh?
yeah. You drinking moonshine?
Yeah, he
No.
is. Look at him.
Yeah, I'm interested to see more about this, and I can't see Ocho. I don't know if something's going on.
Oh.
All right. Leach confirmed at no Xbox for No Man's Sky. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what all you can do and what will keep you interested, and whether it'll be like the Division and you play for it like for a week and then you're done with it, or something like that. Somebody asked a good question. Owning guns for self-defense, is that something? What did he put in there?
Do you think Christians should own guns for self-defense?
Yeah, heck yeah, I do.
Yeah, much better than swords.
Yeah. While I do say that, I know some people have strong convictions about not killing somebody, and so that there's no point in them owning a gun. They'd rather even die, and I totally can respect that. But I own several firearms for protection. I believe that you should own firearms to be able to take on the U.S. government.
Oh boy.
But I'm a patriot, man. So
I agree with that.
and my name is Corey. Wait. I know Kingdom Soldier. Me and him totally don't see eye to eye on this, and I totally respect his opinion. And he won't own a firearm
Yeah.
for protection, and I can totally respect that. But don't take away my right to own guns.
Yeah,
I
I
don't want
think
to confirm or deny if we have firearms at home.
right.
But that would be a mystery if you seek to break in here, like we may or may not. So
Yeah.
a chance or don't.
Yeah, isn't the context like in the Ten Commandments? It's about murder, right? It's not about
Murder.
death.
Yeah.
So like, if that's your basis, it's already kind of shaky. I don't have if that's your conviction, if that's your conscience telling you, like, dude, just do you. That's fine with me. You know what I mean? But I don't see it that way. I don't know if this was a dream or just like a very vivid daydream, but I had this. Let's just call it a dream that somebody broke into my house and I had to shoot him, and like it wasn't like a lethal shot right away, but you could tell it was like a mortal wound, and I remember being like, I ran up to him and like, all of a sudden I was like super worried about his spiritual state, you know, because he's like incapacitated, he's holding his gut and he's like bleeding out, and I'm like, yo, you're bleeding out, you're gonna die before the ambulance gets here. Let me tell you about Jesus.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I was like, I don't remember what happened, but it just like was so real at that moment, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
him bleeding out like that, it was.
I don't want to cut anybody off, but man, I always thought that if I was a vigilante, I would catch people, give them a chance to repent, and then kill them. I could feel pretty good about that.
You'd make a better TV show than Daredevil, at least.
Heck yeah, that show's garbage. Sorry,
Like
Leech.
the Crusader.
The Templar. Oh man. Claps.
Yes.
So did you guys officially answer that question? Do you want to have anything?
No, I think I don't think there's anything wrong with it. However, I think if your conscience dictates that, you know, you're against it, then it's, you know, left up to your own feeling. But for me personally, I don't see anything wrong with it. I personally, you know, I have a concealed carry permit. I have a concealed carry weapon. I do carry. I feel like it is the best position for me. There was a time back when I would have felt comfortable stopping and helping somebody on the side of the road, which I don't do that anymore because
Right.
I don't feel comfortable with that. So in the same situation, if I'm ever on the side of the road, somebody were to take an advantage, you know, I want to be able to protect my family.
Yeah. I don't. You know what? The only time I carry is when I'm with my family. If I'm going somewhere alone, I usually don't carry.
I carry it all the time.
Nice. To church?
I didn't carry to church this morning,
Oh,
but they
okay.
have security.
All right.
It's because
Maybe
Tabs
not me.
is actually a behind the
You
curtain
know.
millionaire.
Ocho, what about you?
I mean, I think different countries have different laws, and I think like America's one of the ones that has the law that allows you to carry guns and own them personally. And I don't see anything wrong with it. Like, I mean, there's the Bible where Jesus tells his disciples to carry swords, and so it's not because they're playing Minecraft or anything, but
Get that diamond sword.
it's for protection, you know.
Yeah. And I know KS is concerned, and let me give you maybe something from the other side. You know, he's seen what gun violence has done to communities, and that's why he has a real heartburn about it. And yeah, man, if you're seeing that all the time, I could see why you'd have an aversion to guns. But all right, so I want to move on. Somebody was talking about end times. Are we in the end times?
Yes.
No idea.
No idea. Yes.
Bible says we don't know the day or the hour.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Obviously, we
think we're-
don't. Do you feel like we're
you know-
close? Do you think we're,
No.
if Trump gets elected, are you going to change your tune, man?
No,
All right,
I don't
so
think so.
like, Aaron will probably type this in just a minute that we've been in the end times ever since the apostle
yeah.
times, you know. So
Yeah.
like in that context, sure.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. I couldn't say 50 years or 100 years. You know, like it'll happen. I'm just like, I don't know. It seems like there's been a lot of war and a lot of problems for a long time. You know what I mean? Like the signs that we look at.
Yeah.
But I hope
Yeah.
so.
I think a lot of people think that we are.
Sure, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
go watch John Hagee say something, you know.
It's really interesting to look at. I wish I was smarter in this area. One thing that makes me believe that we're not so much is just the amount of people that still haven't heard. I mean, I think there's like 2,000 people groups that still have not heard. So that makes me question. But I mean, that could change in a blink of an eye with all the things that we have available to us with the internet and, social media and everything like that. So there are times that it feels like, I think it feels like it because maybe Christianity is starting to face some persecution here. So maybe people are thinking, this must be the end times, but we're just catching up compared to other places in the world. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Something does feel, I don't know. Sometimes I think we are, and sometimes I think we aren't. So I don't know.
Yeah, I've read like all of the, maybe not all of them, but the prophetic passages that these end times like scholars or whatever study, and like I have a hard time getting from like that scripture to their deduction or whatever, you know, to figure out how they arrived at some of these conclusions. So like I'm perfectly okay kind of like taking their word for it that like the nation of Israel will be a country and then these things will happen and then that'll lead up to it. But at the same time, I'm just like, some of that I just don't see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think every time there's a tornado or something like that, you know, people start talking about it too. It does seem like those things are increasing, though, to be honest with you. But I don't know. Ocho?
It's just global warming, though.
I'll say, like, I heard this sermon recently where I think it was it just last Jeffress, he's local here, but he's also on like Fox News and stuff a lot of times, and he gave a sermon of, like, I think it was basically saying, are we in the last days? And his answer was yes, because either one, Jesus is going to come back in our lifetime, or we're going to die. And either way, like, we're in our last days. Like, we're not any closer to living, or we don't have any more days than what we've already lived necessarily. But like, we're all going to, at some point, maybe 50 years, 100 years, whatever, we're all going to like see the end of at least this life or our life.
I'm halfway dead.
Right?
I'm 40 something, man. I'm 41. I'm halfway gone. I'm probably more than halfway gone, man.
I've seen a few questions I don't want to miss because it's scrolling past, but somebody asked about death penalty.
Yeah.
And then somebody asked about, have you ever been in a fight in school? And Leach wants to know, do you believe in global warming?
Oh, global warming. Let's say that one for last, and not even do it. Let's just forget about that. I like the death penalty question. I wanted to hit that.
All right.
What do you guys think? Death penalty, for or against it? Don't know. Controversial. First of all,
I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. Okay. I don't think that it shouldn't be like an option, but I don't think it's a great option. It's just final. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and a part of me wants to take like the worst like serial rapists and stuff like that and just like be done with it. You know what I mean? But it's permanent. It is final. And like in the spiritual context, at some point, if they're breathing, there's a chance. You know what I mean? But if they're not breathing, they're done.
Well, and there's a lot of criticism because some people in the Christian community are very much pro-life when it comes to babies, and then pro-death when it comes to the death penalty, and they say we're being hypocrites. When we say that, I'll say what I think about that here in a minute. But Ocho, Claps, you guys have any thoughts?
It's one of those that's kind of like right in the middle. Like on one day, you or certain situations, you look at it and you're like, yes, that person seems like it deserves it. But then again, you look at it on the other side, and we're not supposed to judge anybody. And then when we judge them to the point of where we're deciding their death. And I don't know. I'm just so indifferent. I used to be at a point where I thought 100% yes, that was the right thing we should do because of what they've done to people. But now I don't know. I'm almost in between.
Do we have the authority to put people to death?
I don't. As a government.
What's that?
I think as a government, like even God talks about the government being there with a sword to do the things that the government requires you to do. Like, it's not there for nothing. And even in the Old Testament, they had death penalties for like certain sins that like we wouldn't even consider having a death penalty for today.
I know a lot of people criticize us for that, and they go back to do not murder. But I think you're right on, Ocho. This isn't murder. This is the government, and government is given the authority by God to do this. Now, whether or not we should do this, that's a whole other thing. But
there's not always like the absence of government abuse. Like, there are plenty of people that were put to death wrongly under government supervision, and like that's definitely not right. But on the other hand, I don't think it's always inappropriate to have execution as an option.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of look at it this way: that life is so valuable that sometimes it requires taking life. If that makes any sense, if somebody's killing somebody and you don't put him to death, and then they kill somebody and kill somebody and kill somebody again while they're even in jail or anything like that, how is that right? Not respecting life enough. On the other hand, I don't think I'd oppose it if the death penalty went away, or I hate to see the thought of somebody not getting a second chance, but I guess you stay on death row for years and years and years anyways, so I guess you get that chance. But
You do. And, there is a victim aspect of it, too, which you kind of are hinting at. But, does blood, like, cry out for blood? You know what I mean? And is it our job here to execute justice? It's a tough question. I mean, no doubt, like, whoever has to sign those papers, that death warrant, that's heavy,
yeah, yep.
I think another side for me, and the analytical side of me goes into also not only the life side of it, but then we look at the money that we spend as taxpayers. You know what I mean? Like, it seems almost dehumanized to think of it that way. But then we look at the other things that we put people in prison for, and the amount of money we're spending on prisons.
Yeah,
So I
that's
think that's another.
That's an interesting topic, because I feel like prison is too comfortable right now. So, like, I feel like you could save some costs in prisons by like not letting it be somewhat of a country club. But also, we do put a lot of people in jail for some kind of small things, in my opinion.
Well, you start out with a single topic of the death penalty. You can boil that over into a lot of different other things. Like, you don't necessarily want these people interacting with society, which is the reason why they're there. But why not, if we're going to punish them, that they work in some format? Instead of enacting the death penalty on somebody, why not have them work? If we're going to spend the taxpayer money, then they should recoup some of that somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah, I think when it comes to taxpayer money, and this is probably just too far down the rabbit trail, but there's much worse things that we spend tax money on than, like, locking up people who should be locked up. You know what I mean?
No way.
Like, every convicted murderer, rapist, serial rapist, whatever, throw them away, lock them up, throw away the key. I'll pay whatever I need to pay to make that happen. I'm perfectly okay with that. It goes to our, like, security and safety.
And there's always that chance at redemption. Yeah, you might stay in jail, but you can still be redeemed. You can still, accept Christ as your Savior, find forgiveness, and eternity, is a total new area for you, so.
And those people are going to convert it while they're in prison, maybe under, like, false charges or whatever. Like, they have the opportunity even to witness people in the prison, where, like, most people wouldn't.
Yeah. Yep. All right. We're forgetting anything else? We need to start wrapping this up. We're getting about to our time limit. Was there another question that we want to
Fights.
tackle? Fights. All right. Let's make this our last one that we talk about. Have you ever gotten in a fight in high school, or was that it?
I think it just said school fight.
School fight. Claps, man. Feels like a bully.
I hope not. I'm a very soft-spoken person at times, so especially. Me personally, non-confrontational. I went to a Christian school for a little bit, very small Christian school, and I got in one fight. It was with one person. It was, one punch from each of us, and we kind of like rolled over in the ditch or whatever. And the teacher separated us. We got in trouble. Parents had to come in and talk about it, and amazingly after that we became really good friends.
Isn't it? That's how guys are, man.
Yeah, we got it over with. We had a disagreement. I think we were playing like kickball or softball or baseball or something. Had a disagreement about it, and there it was.
Yeah.
That was the one and only time. After that I was homeschooled. So.
Right. All right. So speaking of thugs, Ocho. Savage Ocho is his gamer tag.
I don't think I ever really got in a real fight. I think I was one of those kids where when I got mad, if I was going to throw a punch, I could punch it always miss. So it wouldn't actually end up in a fight. It would be like, oh, well, let's keep playing. Because we were playing, I think the closest I ever had was we were playing basketball one time, and like the other team was kind of rough. And so one of the guys was going up for a layup, and I kind of gave him a little extra shove. And like he came back and swung at me, but like it didn't connect. And then recess was over, so he went back to class. And like that was it. Like, and then we're friends. So we played baseball together after that, and it was cool.
Nice.
Yeah, neighborhood fights for sure. I never got in a fight at school, but playing baseball in the yard, safe out, that argument, becomes swinging, and yeah, lots of those. But it was the same thing. You get in that fight, and then if it happened early enough in the day, you'd be playing again together, like later that night, or the next day for sure.
Yeah. Geez, oh Pete, man, bragging on me. Fights, yeah. When I was younger, a lot younger, but more like junior high age, I got in a ton of fights, and mostly neighborhood, and a couple at school. But as I got older, man, everybody grew, and I quit growing. And so I was like really small up until my junior year, so I tried to avoid any fights because I would have got pummeled. But then finally my junior year, I started growing and got up to my current height and everything like that. But I think I only got one fight in high school, and it was more like a wrestling match. So,
Wrestling.
Wrestling. Dude, the coolest fight I saw though, man, was this girl who punched this boy in the nose and gave him a bloody nose, man. And the kid just turned around and walked away. It was awesome.
Did you guys do, like, for physical education, do you guys do, like, boxing ever?
Not
I don't think we did.
Yeah, we did that at the Christian school.
Oh, nice.
That was a way to get a little bit of your aggression out.
Yeah. I did take karate.
Jump in there and let's go.
And did a lot of that, but never in school or anything like that. All right. Well, let's wrap it up, man. Just wanted to thank everybody for being in the chat and being awesome in the chat, man. Some great questions. You guys rock it out, man. If you're watching this video later, if you would really come back and grab this thing and maybe tweet it out to somebody or share it on your social media, we would really appreciate that. We'd love your support, appreciate your support. You guys are awesome with the comments and everything like that. We hope you come back next week and say hi to us and bring some more questions because you keep us going. So thank you so much in the chat. And if we didn't respond to you or anything like that, I want to apologize for that up front. But Ocho, thanks for being on the show. Really appreciate it. You're going to be gone the next 2 weeks, though.
Next 2 weeks, yeah. I'll
Yeah.
be on a boat.
Going on a boat, jerk. Totally jealous, man. Class, thanks for being on the show. Taboo, thanks for all the things that you do behind the scenes, guys. As always, take care and God bless.
Just to know you more. Just to know you more. More. I want more of you. More. I want more of you. And I want to know you. I've had enough of me. So here I am, Lord, laid low at your feet, to know your cross and your crown, to give my all for your renown, just to know